All right, and we are here with another edition of After the Whistle. Wednesday, September 9th. A lot happening in the world. Football season starts tomorrow, shockingly.
For real, right?
Yeah, I completely forgot football starts tomorrow. I did have my fantasy draft, though. Get into all that later. NBA playoffs is catching fire. There's the Eastern Conference Finals is about to. The matchup's about to be set. The Celtics just got to handle their business tonight and not have another lapse in judgment and like they did in Game 3 and 4. Well, Game 3 specifically because this series should have been over. But Celtics got a 3-2 lead over the Raptors after the other night's victory. And my goodness, that was like, dude. They just realized that they're just a more talented team.
Apparently, man.
Because after we went off the last week's episode, then we had the buzzer beater the following day, and it was just...
I mean, it happens. Your smartest player on the court just, makes a bad decision at the worst time in the game. It happens to be the end of the game, unfortunately. But he redeemed himself last game. I didn't really plan on watching much of this series because I thought they're going to just kind of wipe them. But apparently the Raptors, championship caliber team, defending champs, so, they wasn't going to just lie down.
Yeah.
So they're going to go down fighting. But tonight it should be a closeout game.
Yeah.
Bigger, better, stronger, faster.
Yeah, it was just, that game was so, Game 3 was so frustrating because they just, out of all the times to go zone, you go zone with 0.5 seconds left. 0.5 seconds left. Number one, you put in Taco, who hasn't even played the entire game. I don't understand why they put him in there. You were better off putting Robert Williams in because he can actually jump. He's actually athletic enough to disrupt it. So it was a lapse in judgment just throughout. They made a whole bunch of horrible decisions, but the Raptors, it seems like they can't. If they're not hitting threes, they can't do nothing. They really can't do much.
I mean, your guards aren't that big, so it's hard for them to get in the lane and really be productive. And that's the game in the NBA now. It's 3 balls and 3 balls and layups, and for the most part, you got to be able to shoot those, and they don't have enough.
Yeah, and then Pascal Ciaco, he's been really disappointed. I think he's had one good game this entire series.
Yeah, I haven't noticed him.
Yeah, exactly. He's just been, shooting. He went from 22 a game in the season to 15 points per game this series, and he's been awful at the three, like under 20%.
He's the man. He's considered the man now for that team. So now their game plan for you is a little different. You know what I mean? So obviously he has to get better in certain aspects of his game.
Yeah, you can't just keep driving and spinning all the time. You need some different moves. But also in that Game 3, what was most frustrating was Campbell had just made one crazy play to give them the lead with 0.5 seconds left because I thought for sure he was going to shoot it, and then I didn't see the pass just came out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh. And I thought that was going to seal it. But Campbell, he had like one bad game, but he's been pretty consistent, for what they want him to do.
Yeah, it's what they brought him for. I'm a big believer in Campbell, so I have no issue with Campbell at all.
Yeah, and so the Celtics, if they close it out tonight, then they have the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, who just took a little time to get the Bucks out of there, but they did it last night, and it was a competitive game, but you saw what the Bucks were lacking down the stretch because they couldn't muster up any offense. Nobody could get a shot off. Nobody could create. And the Heat, they had different guys creating and scoring, and that was just the difference in the ball game. And also, coaching matters too.
Yeah, I'm gonna see my friend later today and tell him about himself picking the Bucks. Man, I'm not surprised at all. The Heat are just a different type of organization, and then when they have star power, you see they done with LeBron and D Wade. So
yeah,
they just got a bunch of guys that hoop. They're selfless. They're not worried about who gets 20, 30. They just had to compete, and they don't care who's in front of them. Yeah, and that's the type of team you want in the playoffs.
And if you look at the stat sheet from yesterday, the most shots were 15 by one of the Heat players. That was the most shot attempt by a Heat player. And also the Bucks, they got to look at their coaching too. Their coaching decisions. This series was just terrible. I mean, for one, you don't even play your best players over 40 minutes. You're playing them 30 minutes per game, and it's just like, what are we doing here? This is the playoffs. You're supposed to play your best players, and they're young. I'd understand if they were older, but they're young. So he was trying to, he said something like he's trying to rest them or something or save them. I'm like,
honestly, man, it was nothing he could have done. He was getting them out of there. And it just shows Giannis needs to get a lot better too. Giannis, my bad, he needs to get a lot better as well. Oh, yeah. Just when you can't be a professional athlete, they just pack it in and you can't find other ways to score.
Yeah, you can't just drive to the basket and travel all the time to the basket. It just doesn't work in the playoffs because once they focused their defense on him, once he couldn't get to the paint, it was like, it's just like a deer in the headlights. What am I gonna do? And that goes with that whole team. I mean, I don't know what Eric Bledsoe was doing out there on the court, but every time he shot the ball, it was just like, I'm just like, bruh, why is he even in the game? Because all his shots, his threes were just terrible.
I mean, the game before that, he didn't play that bad. So I just think you don't like Eric Bledsoe personally.
No. I just don't think he fits that team.
Bro, that whole team need to be blown up.
They
don't have enough to win anything.
Their makeup is terrible. It's like you can't have a player like Giannis and not surround him with shooters. Like, as simple as that. If you have a player with that much talent, you cannot have no shooters around him, especially knockdown shooters. I mean, Kyle Korver was the only one, but I mean, Kyle Korver is like 40 years old at this point, so can't expect much from him. And they just, somebody said it, from last year, they didn't do anything to make them better for a postseason run. Like, they got rid of Malcolm Brogdon for whatever reason.
They thought Giannis, I keep calling him Giannis, they thought Giannis was going to be the guy to just bring him over the hump just because he's him. And sorry, it doesn't work like that with anyone in the NBA.
That definitely doesn't. So the Bucks, they got a lot of soul searching to do. They got a lot of things to look at. First, you got to look at the coaching staff. Then you got to look at the buildup of their team, because if they come back and they don't make no changes as far as perimeter players, it's just gonna be the same thing. A great regular season and then bye in the postseason. Easy exit. But the West, they got some the Western Conference is having some good matchups right now between the Lakers and the Lakers and Rockets had one good game.
Yeah.
LeBron had a vintage LeBron game last night in the first half. It was like the first half he had like 28, 29 points, and then the second half he kind of cooled down, and then the playoff Rondo came up here just out of nowhere, and it was like the Rockets. We have to have a discussion about Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Russell Westbrook. He's looking like he's running around out there. I don't know. He just doesn't seem that like in tune with the game. He's just not that engaged. Like, I don't know, just something off with him. But Rondo, man, I don't expect anything less from a championship caliber player, man.
See, you getting all those open shots. Somebody on that team got to hit him because, Danny Green, that guy went from making shots in the finals last year to now he can't buy a bucket. And Kyle Kuzma, I honestly don't even know what he does on the floor anymore, because it seems like you forget he's even on the team.
If you get a lot of guys on that team, you got AD and LeBron. So,
I just don't get it. But yeah, with the Westbrook situation, it seems like once his athleticism's gone, it's like it seems like we're seeing the declining of a player who was once here. We're seeing his decline because he can't even make mid-range jumpers, and that was something he used to be able to do. And now he can't even do that. He was never a good three-point shooter, and now it's just...
everybody in the league should work on their skill to help prolong their career and improve their game. Same thing with Giannis. He got athleticism, but what skill is there? Yeah. Just like everybody bashing Harden for it. Now you see in the playoffs what Harden was actually talking about.
But the thing with Westbrook is I've seen this dude get hot, he used to be a good mid-range player, and it seems like once all the athleticism's going away, it's like
he still got the athleticism. He just looks off to me. It just looks like something. I don't know. Something's going on to me personally, because he's doing things that kind of abnormal.
Yeah, forcing the issue. Usually he does force the issue, but sometimes he makes smart decisions with the ball. But now it's just like the turnovers are increasing. It's a lot of bad basketball from Houston, and then James Harden. We know what the game plan for him is. He's just going dribble. He's going to launch up a three, dribble, go to the hoop. Somehow get a foul. I don't know how he gets it, but he somehow gets foul called. So I don't know. I thought this series was going to go 6. Maybe the Rockets win tomorrow, but the way the Lakers are playing and the way they have no answer for AD or LeBron, it might be a gentleman's sweep at the way it's going.
Yeah, I didn't see much coming out of this series except for, some exciting basketball, but the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be competitive, but it hasn't really been that competitive. And the Rockets, I think, only scored like 30-something points in the second half after putting up 64 in the first half. So it was a tale of two halves, and I'm just not a fan of Houston and their style of basketball. I'm just not a fan at all. And then, so the other LA team, they took control of the series, a 2-1 lead over the Nuggets, and that was a very interesting game. It was an interesting game because I thought the Nuggets were going to pull away. At one point, they went on a run. They went up 12, and then 5 seconds later, it's a 2-point game, and it seems like whenever they try to make a cushion, they could never put the Clippers away. And then the Clippers playoff P showed up, and they were just making shots and making more plays.
Yeah, I didn't see the Nuggets pulling away from nothing. I see it as the Lakers competing with the Nuggets. Then when it's time to turn it on, all right, let's end the game.
Yeah, that's literally what it was because they locked down Jamal Murray because he didn't do much when they put. Every time they switched Kawhi or PG on him, he really didn't do much. He couldn't get to the basket. The shots weren't going in. But the Nuggets, they squandered some opportunities because they had plenty of open opportunities. And, I mean, I don't know what you expect Jeremy Grant to make. I mean, he's not really that.
He's been pretty consistent from the three.
Yeah, but
hey, you out there, you get paid to shoot the ball, do other things, make shots. You wide open. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just in Murray, he got to get more moves. He's a small guy playing. He's a small guy playing the two, right?
Yeah,
it's 2/1.
Yeah.
So it's like you're playing again. You're playing against bigger guys, so you got to get more moves. I don't know if his thigh might be bothering him from that little knee from Ingles. So who knows? But from what I see, like he can get open against anybody else except for size.
Yeah, and the Nuggets, it's like they're down the stretch. It's a high pick and roll. Their offense is just high pick and roll with either Murray or Jokic, and I think the Clippers caught on to that. I mean, they didn't have the problem with the Nuggets is they can't have Porter Jr. on the floor like during crunch time because of his defense.
He's young.
Yeah, it's just if he was somewhat decent on defense, he'd be able to stay on the floor, and they give him that extra offensive threat down the stretch, but. His defense is just, it's just not good, and every time he gets exposed, so it's like
he's got to learn the game is playoff time, so he didn't have a full season to fully understand. You know what I mean? The NBA. Granted, he practiced a year before that, right? Because this is his first real year, but he was out last year. But so you get the practice and be around the team to understand the nuance of the game, but to get in the situations, prime time is different. Mm-hmm. He's got to get better, better defensively, stronger. Right.
Yeah, all he needs to be is a little better, like a little. He don't even need to be great. Just like
that'll happen next year.
Pretend you can stay in front of somebody or like know how to use your help. That's it. If he can do that, he'll be fine. But man,
nobody ever talked about his defensive capabilities.
Oh my God!
Ever.
Clearly, that was never a focus.
Yeah, I mean, some guys don't have to be when you got other guys that can D up. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and for the Clippers, this was a good thing for Paul George to have a game like this because if they're gonna go over the top, he needs to be a little more. He needs to be consistent going forward with this type of. I'm not gonna say score 32. Every time out there, but come close to it, give him 20. Yeah, he's capable. He just got get out of his head all the mental stuff. But the Clippers, Lou Will, he's been really quiet this postseason. Usually he'll give you at least like 20 off the bench, but he hasn't really. Besides game one, he hasn't really been like.
Sometimes less is more. It's really it, picking his spots. He's not always gonna be great. Lou's been consistent for a long time now, so you know.
Yeah, the Clippers, their bench, they got like 20, they got 30 points from their bench, I believe, or 31 points from their bench. So that's the thing with them, man. Their bench, if they're getting 30 points from their bench, the rest of the postseason, it's gonna be tough for any of these teams left to beat them because a lot of teams go. I mean, they downsize their rotation and play like seven to 8 guys, but the Clippers still go like 9 deep.
And because of that, that's also why Lou isn't Lou as much anymore, because he has other guys on the bench that are just as good now, because they all kind of grew up together to a certain extent. Like Montrezl Harrell, he's now $6 million a year, getting the reward, getting the award from 3 times $6 million a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So game number game 5 or game 4, whatever. Yeah, game 4. I don't know. It's game 4's tonight.
Long day.
Yeah, I lost track of how many games. So. Game 4 tonight, Clippers looking to go 3-1. Nuggets trying to tie it up, or they'll go 3-1. They'll go down 3-1 for the second time in this postseason. All right, some other NBA news. This was a bit surprising. Steve Nash got the head coaching job for the Brooklyn Nets in a surprise move, and I mean, congrats, but I was like, oh.
Yeah, nobody saw this coming.
At all, especially, I didn't even think he was considering becoming a head coach. I thought he was happy, helping other players out in that player development role.
That's what I thought he was doing.
That he had, but he wanna take this step. It was, I mean, kudos to you, but there's a lot of backlash because he leaped over a lot of African American candidates who kind of they should have got an opportunity at the job. So
I see both sides of the argument because you got people talking about over 20 years of experience, a high IQ, and comparing them to Jason Kidd and stuff like that. That's cool and all, but you got other guys that paid their dues, and in the world we live in, you're taught and told to pay your dues, and your opportunity will come if you stay consistent. So it kind of goes against what society kind of tells you. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was a very, 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 very interesting move, and I'm just like, oh, okay, you wanted to coach those 2 guys? I mean, one of them already got the previous coach fired, so it's like you're about to take on some serious personalities right now. You're gonna have a lot of serious personalities to.
My whole thing is
being a coach.
All this, I get it. Every player wants to be involved in the decision. Who's going to come in as your head coach, just so you have that rapport and you feel that you can relate to that guy and he's the best fit for your team. Yeah. But you got guys just having opinions about coaches that ain't really won much. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying these two. I'm just saying in general. Like it's like, I don't know. I think sometimes players got to stay as players and coaches got to stay as coaches and GMs stay as GMs and respect the space. Yeah. And just trust the process and trust that they're going to put the right people in.
This is what happens when you got when you're getting too much money. This is what happens when these players are making a whole lot of money because now their input is taken into consideration into who gets hired, and they kind of know they could kind of
And then, if they don't win, it's their fault. Yeah. Why they don't win? Yeah. You say what you want about LeBron, but wherever he went, he was winning. Yeah. So like,
yeah, it's very interesting. But also, it was funny that the backlash that Nash got from it, because I'm just like, the Nets are the same team that hired Jason Kidd right after he retired with no coaching experience, and also the Knicks also hired Derek Fisher right out of retirement with no coaching experience. So. It happens.
It was way deeper than that, though, bro.
It is, but
the way the world's going right now, that's just I just added more fuel to the fire. Yeah, let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, good luck. Good luck to him. Good luck to Brooklyn. They got a good team, but good luck, especially with the personalities that he's gonna have to coach. The 2 main guys. All right, we're gonna go to Craig to the Fantasy No Huddle. Yeah, week 1 is it's tomorrow, so. He's going to give you some tips on your fantasy football, who to start, who to sit, and all that good stuff. And we'll be back.
What up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle, here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig, here again to give you the things I'm looking forward to most this season. As the NFL season is about to start on Thursday, First and foremost, I'm looking forward to this Kansas City and Houston game. It's the battle of Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, a rivalry that's been going on since college, and I couldn't be more excited to watch this game. It's going to be a shootout. The run game is going to be crazy, and whose defense is going to put up that play to put their offense in position to win the game. I think it's going to be a nail-biter. I think it's going to be extremely close, but what I think would be an amazing story is if Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans come out with that victory. Would really put a bad taste in your mouth about what Kansas City is going to do this year. They've already been, named the reigning champs, and everybody thinks they're going to repeat. And if Houston comes in and takes that away from them, that would put a damper on their season. And that's kind of what happened to the Patriots. They won the Super Bowl. Kansas City and Alex Smith came and stomped them into the ground, and it wasn't a pretty look for the Patriots that season. Next thing I'm looking forward to, got to be that Saints and Tampa Bay Bucks game. This is going to probably be the game of the week. It's going to be a shootout between two of the greats, two legends putting their arms to work with two of the best collective groups of offensive weapons the NFL has ever seen. On one hand, you got Tom Brady with the best receiving duo ever that I can remember since I want to say when Megatron was in Indianapolis. And that was a great team that they had put together. But this might even top it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You got a really good tight end set with Gronk, Brate, and O.J. Howard. You got a nice young running back in Ronald Jones with the addition of the hard-hitting, hard-running Leonard Fournette. This is an incredible team, a really good offensive line, and what would have been a top 10 defense had Jameis Winston not give up so many interceptions. And on the other side of the ball, Drew Brees throwing the ball to arguably the greatest wide receiver in Michael Thomas, one of the best running backs in Alvin Kamara. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders, who's going to help spread that defense out. You got Jared Cook coming back for another year. Backup running back Latavius Murray banging it in the end zone. A really good offensive line, and I would probably give a top 10 to a top 12 defense in the Saints. I think this game is going to be a incredible showing of two great offenses butting heads. It's going to be awesome to watch. I think it's going to be over 80 points, if not over 100. It would be amazing. I can't wait to see it. Another game I'm looking forward to just because I want to see him for the first time in a Patriots jersey, and that is Cam Newton and the New England Patriots going up against Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins have a wicked underrated offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick's getting the nod, and when that boy slings it, it's nothing but magic. Devontae Parker coming off of a record year. You got the young boy, second year, Preston Williams. If he remains healthy, it's going to look really good. You got the fast speedster running back in Matt Breida. You got the hard-hitting running back in Jordan Howard trying to resurge his career. And the tight end, Mike Gesicki, who I'm really excited to see take off this year in his sophomore season. I think it's third year. I think it's third season. And then on the other side of the ball, you got Cam Newton with an unproven offense. You got N'Keal Harry, first-round draft pick. Jacoby Myers, Julian Edelman coming in as a veteran. You got two rookie tight ends. What are they going to do this season? And you got a backfield that's just fully loaded. Sony Michel, Damian Harris, who will be out for game one, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he does when he's healthy. James White, Rex Burkhead, and one of arguably the best defense last year. So I'm excited to see what Cam Newton's going to do with this offense and what the defense is going to pull off having lost so many weapons. So those are the games I'm excited to see this season. And make sure you check out the End Zone, Tail of the Tape, and the Flex. They're back and they're ready to go. And until next week, I'll see you in No Huddle here on After the Whistle. Have a good night.
All right, and we are back. Thanks, Craig, for that. I had my draft the other day. My team stacked. So
You know me. I don't do fantasy.
Nah, man, my team's stacked. I'm trying to get that 500. I ain't been in the playoffs the past 3 years in that league, so I'm trying to win that grand $500 prize. All right, so week 1's tomorrow. Texans, Chiefs. The Chiefs begin their title defense, and I don't even know how many people gonna be in the stands. If there's gonna be people in the stands, I'm not sure, because I know some teams will talk about limited capacity and some teams will talk about no fans. So I don't know what's
gonna do every other row.
You might as well, right? But this is coming. This is gonna be. It's gonna be interesting to watch the NFL under these circumstances, because I didn't think it was gonna happen.
I'm not surprised. You see how they don't have the leg room like other sports have, just because how disrespectful they are. So they had to push this product out there.
Yeah.
So honestly, football is one of the few sports you can really play without fans, and people will heavily support at home. Yeah. They have potties, you know what I mean? You're gonna have all type of ridiculousness, but COVID, so stuff might be getting broken up and shut down.
Yeah, no, the tailgates won't be happening and all that. But for the Texans, this one, they just gave their quarterback a new extension, 4 years, $160 million extension.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it totals $177.54 million, 111 guaranteed. Now, that's the big one, 111 guaranteed. That's kudos to him, and he's only 24 too. So
that's dope.
So he couldn't get another big contract in like 4 years after this one's up. So
yeah, just stay consistent, stay healthy, and be smarter with the ball.
He just needs protection, because he always been running for his life.
I'm talking about when he holds it forever and just takes the sack like a fool. Throw out bounds something.
Well, he about to get hold it forever too. That DeAndre Hopkins is not there no more. He gave away his best receiver.
Exactly.
But for Watson, in his first 3 years, he's like the first player he's one of 11 QBs to throw 70 touchdowns in his first 3 years. He's one of 2 QBs to pass for 25 touchdowns and rush for 5 touchdowns. Backing up behind Steve Young's the other quarterback that does it. So he's been doing some great stuff, and this just makes the Bears pick of Trubisky looks even more foolish, because the 2 guys they picked ahead of him, one won a Super Bowl, one have been winning playoff games. And it's so I mean, I can't wait to see Mahomes his third act as a starting quarterback, because now they got everybody back and they're gonna be prohibitive favorites to go back to the Super Bowl. And only thing that's gonna slow them down is injuries.
I mean, he already got one.
Yeah.
Cover of Madden.
It's been the year of Mahomes.
So. Yeah, man. I didn't know much of Trubisky anyways, and I still don't.
Me either. I just knew he went to North Carolina, and I don't know how he became the number 2 pick, but
yo, I'm telling you, man, that's what I mean about that football stuff, man, and scouting and all that stuff. Be kind of like sneaky, man. It don't be about skill, I feel like.
And you know what's worse? Him and Deshaun Watson played against each other in college. Yeah. And you could see Deshaun was going to national title games and stuff, and it's like, right? Like, bruh.
Maybe it's 210.
Yeah, oh, man. No, maybe. All right, so the Buccaneers, I almost said the Patriots. The Buccaneers, Brady and his weapons, they are loaded on offense. I told you everything happens after we get off the show. Leonard Fournette.
Oh yeah, that's my guy. I like that.
He gets picked up by the Bucs, and now they just have an array of offensive threats that that's going to present a problem for a lot of teams, because now they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. They got 2 running backs too. Ronald Jones from last year, he had a pretty good season last year. So this Bucs team, they're doing everything that you're supposed to do when you have a 40-plus-year-old quarterback.
Now we just got to see what product gets put out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It looks great on paper.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It looks good in the video game, but now we gotta see if they actually gel.
Yeah, the good thing about it is they got a coach with common sense that actually knows what he's doing with all the weapons that he has at his disposal. But probably gonna see a lot of running. I think to start off with, just because.
It'll be smart just because of the receivers they have. You know what I mean? You kind of want to keep defenses on their toes. And if you got Brady, you know he's been slinging it for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So you might as well switch it up on him.
And that whole division is going to be an interesting division with the Falcons, with the offense that the Falcons have, the offense that the Saints have. I mean, I don't know how long Drew Brees will last during the season, because we saw after October, his numbers just started plummeting, and he wasn't getting the ball down the field like he was earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that division is going to be very competitive. But the Bucs, they have everything that they need to, possibly make a run at the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense wasn't too bad last year. They got rid of 30 for 30, so that'll help their defense a lot. But we'll see with this Bucs team. But it's going to be. I'm interested to see how they look in week 1, because it's the Bucs and Saints week 1. So
I don't even care how they look.
All right, and the Pats. The Pats have named Cam Newton the starter. He's also a captain, and I don't know. There was people who really thought Jared Stidham was going to be the
Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer. People really thought that there was going to be a competition between.
Just the names alone.
Yeah.
Wait. Then you see him walk through the door. It's like, bro, what? He's starting over that thing over there? That thing looks like an Avenger.
I just did not understand why people thought he would have a hard time beating out those two guys, because Jared Stidham got benched in a preseason game. I can't go over the fact last year he got benched in a preseason game.
Remember where we are? We in New England.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Cam Newton.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, but he's saying he's during the camps, their practices, he's saying he likes how the offense looks. He likes the way they're gonna plan on using him this season. How Coach Belichick gonna be using him this season. It's gonna be this probably might be the most exciting offense the Patriots have had since the Moss era, just because you got a quarterback who's just
unpredictable.
Yeah, unpredictable, and the last guy couldn't really. If the play breaks down, that's it. He's going down.
That's what I mean. And, you know what Brady gonna do.
Yeah.
So you already know what Cam gonna do, and I like that.
Yeah. So this is gonna be the first year with since the last time we didn't have a quarterback not named Brady starting. It was like a couple times. It was the year he got suspended off that weird crap that they were still looking.
He was injured.
And the year he was injured, but for the most part, this will be the first time Brady's completely not in the picture, so it's gonna suck that there's no fans to see this in the stands. But it's gonna be, Boston radio. Man, let Cam have a bad game, man.
Boston radio, Facebook, everywhere,
man.
Twitter.
Yeah, man. That's one thing I said when he got traded. I'm like, I don't wish that upon him if he has a bad game, because them folks, they already got it in their drafts that they're gonna be what they're gonna say, but. Kickoff is Sunday. They play the Dolphins. First game of the season. We'll see how these guys look. All right, let's go to sports update with Mia Lynn, and then we'll come back. We'll go to Plus One interview.
Mia Lynn.
Mia.
Good afternoon and welcome back to this week's segment of New England sports scores and updates. I'm your host, Mia Lynn. And today we'll be covering all that's happened in New England sports in the last week. There is no better way to kick off this week's segment than by talking about Serena Williams' amazing performance. With her 4th round victory on Labor Day, Serena became the first tennis player, male or female, to win 100 U.S. Open matches in the infamous Arthur Ashe Stadium. She will look to secure her 24th Grand Slam win as she advances to the quarterfinals for the 53rd time in her career. In WNBA news, the Connecticut Sun clinched their 4th straight WNBA playoff berth after a win on Monday night over the Phoenix Mercury. After a rocky start to the season, the Sun have been able to march back and make a mark on the league. The team will look to finish the regular season on a strong note as they play their final 2 games this week. In baseball news, the Red Sox won their game last night against the Philadelphia Phillies, splitting the series. The final score was 5-2. The team still stands 5th and last in the AL East, 5 games behind the Baltimore Orioles. In player-related news, it was announced earlier this week that left fielder Andrew Benintendi will officially miss the rest of the 2020 season as he was placed on the 45-day injured list with a ribcage strain that has yet to fully heal. Benintendi only played 14 games this season due to his injury, so he'll look to make a full recovery this offseason. Lastly, it is officially week 1 of the 2020 NFL season. The Patriots appear to be ready to take on their first game of this unique season on Saturday at Gillette Stadium. Just this past week, it was announced that Cam Newton will most likely be starting at quarterback this Sunday. However, Coach Bill Belichick will not disclose any information. Cam's teammates also voted for him to be one of the team's captains, a testament to his strong leadership role on the team already. In an interview with Cam on Monday, he said that the Patriots are, quote, a match made in heaven. Make sure to catch the team in action this weekend to see Cam Newton's debut with the Patriots as they take on the Miami Dolphins. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next week for another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates.
All right, thank you, Mia, for that update. And we're going to go to a +1 interview. This is with my guy. This interview is already up on the website, but I'm going to give you a little, 10 minutes of it. It's with Keith Robinson from Turner Sports, producer for Turner Sports. So he's a background, but inside the NBA, NBA on TNT. All that stuff that be happening, all the extra stuff, that's part of his team. They're the ones that do all that. So I talked to him. Once again, this interview's already up. We did this a couple weeks ago, but we haven't put it on the show, so we're going to give you guys a snippet of it. So here's Keith Robinson in the +1 interview. Welcome to another edition of the +1 interview on After the Whistle. And today we got a special guest, Turner Sports, Mr. Keith Robinson. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. It's busy times for you, especially during the NBA postseasons. You have long work days. I know you guys just had a long one yesterday. Just talk to me about the postseason and what it's just like being behind the scenes on during this time of the year. Well, usually it's couple months ago, but during.
Yeah. Our whole sports calendar is flipped upside down, man. I mean, we've got playoff basketball in August, when this is usually late April, early May for us, and for us to get to where we are now with. Not only with Turner, but our partners with the NBA, ESPN. What the NBA has pulled off and us as a collective has been amazing. I really can't even believe that we are here. Just going back to March when the season was shut down, and then going through COVID through April and May, it was, we've come a long way to get to this point. And now it's just, great to have playoff basketball happening in a time of the year that in a non-COVID year would normally be a slow season. Right now in August, it would usually be NFL training camps kicking off, baseball second half kind of taking over.
Summer league.
Yeah, exactly. Summer league would have just ended, and free agency would have just ended. So, we're trying to figure it out as we go along. But like I said, it's just great to have playoff basketball right now, and I couldn't be more proud of what the collective between the partnerships between Turner, ESPN, and the NBA have been able to pull off so far.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they always see, a lot of people talk about the people in front, the people that are in front of the camera, the hosts and those folks, but now the work that's really done is behind the scenes, the folks like yourselves who work behind the scenes. So when the shutdown happened and then you guys are trying to figure out programming for the networks, and what was that like just in the meetings and just as you guys are trying to figure things out in the uncertainty that happened there in March?
Yeah, there were so many hurdles to kind of move over, right? Because the pandemic's happening. Just as we live our everyday lives, we were trying to figure out how to maneuver around. So, people weren't going into the office. They shut the offices down. Obviously, kids were pulled out of school. All of a sudden, everybody's working from home. And then, probably about 2 weeks into it, Turner Sports, we operate NBA TV as well. And so with NBA TV, our programming kind of shifted to a work from home type of thing. And our talks with the NBA is like, folks are at home, folks are sad, folks are kind of down because, the season is shut down. What kind of programming can we do to kind of, be a distraction almost, almost a getaway for people to come to NBA TV and still get some NBA content. And that's what it was. And we tried to figure it out. I was producing shows from this very couch in one of my spare bedrooms in my house, and all of our talent was in their homes, and the whole crew was at home, and we would log on to a platform similar to Zoom or whatever and figure it out. One thing that provided for us was access to players and coaches, because there's never going to be another time when everybody's in the same predicament, right? Everybody is quarantining at home. So the players were just as bored as we were. So we had a lot of access to players to be able to jump on a Zoom call for 10 minutes with us and record a segment that we could air on NBA TV. And I think for them, it was another refuge that they could kind of, just talk basketball, talk about what they're going through, what they're experiencing. Some of them were stuck by themselves in whatever city that they were playing in an apartment or a condo, while their families were elsewhere. So, they had nothing but time to be able to talk with us. So we kind of, make sure we had, in every show we did, we had some sort of guest or player or coach, whatever. But, as we kind of moved along to where we are now, we do all of our shows from our studios. But even with that, it took countless hours of planning and trying to figure out how can we be socially distant and safe and healthy. Because that's one thing that Turner and Warner Media, our parent company, has been, exceptional about, is that they want everybody to be as safe as possible at all times. And so coming in the office, washing hands constantly, being socially distant, minimizing the number of people in a room, everybody kind of having to stay in their own space, wearing a mask the entire time that we're in there. I mean, it really takes buy-in from everybody who's coming in. And so far it's been good. It's been good. The communication has been great. And, like I said, it feels good to kind of have some sort of normalcy kind of going into the office, going into the studio, into the control rooms and doing shows. Because I know the people at home kind of feel it too.
Can you tell the audience what it's like, as far as just maintaining the social distance behind the scenes? Because, we see Ernie, Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq. We see how they're socially distanced. They got the things separating them. So we see how it is for them, the talent on camera. But for the folks behind the scene, what is it like? How do y'all maintain the social distance? What's like the protocol that you guys take?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is compare and contrast. So in a normal show complement in a normal society with no social distancing, we would have in a normal show probably 75 to 100 people in studio to put on a show. That's cameramen, lighting, audio, producer, director, talent folks. So it takes a large group of people to kind of put everything together. And obviously within the studio with Chuck and those guys, like their desk isn't super wide. They're sitting closer together. During games, we have a huge viewing room where, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny watch the games together, along with a number of people from our production team in a big kind of a viewing room sort of setting. Now, the crew is bare minimum. Like, we have maybe one camera operator inside the studio. The other camera operators are sitting outside of the studio and operating them robotically. All the guys are wearing masks until they get to the desk, and then once they get on the desk, they take their mask off. We're not watching games in the big viewing room together anymore. They each have their own separate office or green room where they go and watch their games separately.
All right, and we are back. To watch that full interview, go to the LCTV website. It's up there. We'll go to the YouTube page. It's up there. And we got some more NFL to talk about. Okay, so the Bears have named Mitchell Trubisky as their starting quarterback.
Who is he fighting?
Nick Foles.
Oh, man, Nick couldn't get the job.
Oh,
come on, Nick. Come on, Foles. Man, I be talking highly about you, man. Come on, Nick.
I swear Nick Foles only does good in Philly.
Honestly, I told you, he should never left, man.
Literally, he only does well in Philly. That was the year he had that 27 touchdowns, the 2 interceptions in Philly. Then he had the run, the 2 years ago, the Super Bowl run, and then the year after, and it's just like...
How many other backups got a ring? It actually won the game, won the playoffs.
The only other one was the Giants back in Bill Parcells era. That's the last one I can remember.
We born? Who was diapers?
Yeah, it was like 90.
Party training ish.
Yeah, it was. I forget his name, but I think it was against the Bills. I think.
Nah, but Nick Foles played the whole playoffs, didn't he?
This was it.
Same type deal.
Yeah, it was one of those.
I thought it was just like a game or something. All right. But man, you know what? He might come in mid-season or something because Trubisky is.
Oh yeah.
He's unpredictable with passes and interceptions.
Yeah, he's.
You know what he's gonna do.
I don't know the love affair the Bears have with Trubisky. Granted, they picked him number 2, so they're trying to hold on, trying to make it seem like it wasn't the right pick, so they keep giving him numerous opportunities. But man,
I mean, the league got rid of Johnny Manziel pretty quickly.
I mean,
he was obnoxious.
Yeah, Johnny was he was on that bottle too.
I mean, the way Trubisky be playing some games. But if you are gonna have a backup, you probably want Teddy or Nick Foles.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'll die if both of them just get.
Don't be dying, man.
I will start laughing if if their starter doesn't work out and then their backup doesn't work out due to injury, because that's one of the things with Nick Foles. He's always getting injured.
Do they got a third QB?
I have no idea if they have a third back. If they have
if I had them two on my team, I'd have one that's in the spare.
You know what? Let's see if
send an email out to somebody to be ready.
Let's see who their third string quarterback is. Yeah, I would not be. I would definitely take caution with that.
You gotta know these things in life, especially.
Yeah, man, but no, they don't.
Oh.
They only got 2 quarterbacks on the roster.
Are they making space for
maybe they'll bring someone up from the practice squad or something. But as of now, there's only 2 quarterbacks on the roster. So that is okay. Chicago Bears.
Good luck.
I feel bad for Bears fans, but hey, what can you do? All right, and there was some other NFL news of people were getting paid. Oh, but a lot of people getting paid. Trey Davies White of the Buffalo Bills, he signed a 4-year extension, $70 million, $55 million guaranteed. Good for him. $82.1 million is total, and he was first team All-Pro last season. Led the league in interceptions with 6 last year. The Bills had a top 10 defense, and looks like they'll probably have another top 10 defense as long as their quarterback doesn't throw jump balls to fullbacks down the field. And then Jalen Ramsey, he got a 5-year, $105 million extension. This is the highest for a defensive back, the first defensive back to sign a $100 million deal. 71.2 he got right at signing. He's
the first defensive back?
Like
ever?
Yeah, first $100 million deal by defensive back.
Money's different. I'm like, there's some guys that deserve 10 times that.
Yeah, because I think before the highest was like 90 or 80.
What did Prime get?
Probably like 50.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and
back then, that's what I mean. Money's different now, more now. So I'm like, them guys should have.
Plus, Dion was getting money all over the place.
League old hipster branch.
Right, he was getting video game money. He was getting Pepsi money. He was getting baseball money.
Rap money.
All that. He was just Dion had all of that. So that was that. So there's a lot of interesting things happening during week 1. With the upcoming week 1 of the NFL season. And then we got to do our predictions soon, but I forgot to talk about this on the top log. So with the MVP, you know that now that the Bucks are out the playoffs, the big debate on Twitter is the MVP discussion, and everybody's highly upset that the MVP, they don't consider the playoffs for when they do MVP voting. But my argument with that is, if you're balling in the playoffs and you make it in the finals, the MVP is the finals MVP. And they have the regular season MVP for a reason. So now everybody wants the league to change the MVP criteria. I'm just like, yo, this is not the first time we've seen an MVP. This happened to an MVP. I mean, shoot, the last one, with Dirk, when they got Dirk up out of there, and he had to do it at like a press conference or something like that, which was embarrassing enough. But I'm like, this stuff happens.
It's too. People trying to put gray area in everything. Like, there's no need for a gray area in this. Exactly. MVP is for somebody that kills or does their thing all 82 games.
Yeah.
Finals MVP is because the MVP should be, and him and his team should be good enough to make it to the finals, so he can also collect that one as well.
Yeah.
They don't have alternate team. This ain't college. It's not like sympathetical or like positional.
Yeah.
I want to say like awards.
Yeah.
Like in college, some guys might feel left out. So you got the all 30 team, second team, maybe third team, all conference, all these conference teams. I get all that, but it's the league best of the best.
Yeah. And plus, we're just looking at it from the regular season standpoint, and you know how I always go at the LeBron folks because they're the biggest culprit of this. They've been pushing this narrative, year 17, look at LeBron, he deserves MVP because all he's doing in year 17. I'm just like, yo, the dude's a freak of nature. That's number one. Number two, Anthony Davis is like, he leads the team in every category but assists. So, I mean, just because LeBron just because he's averaging 10 assists for the first time in his career, we think we should give him this prize, this MVP. Like, yeah, he's been playing great, but...
So these fanboys want to give LeBron MVP because he's old. In basketball years, he's playing well.
Yeah.
That's just the standard he's held for that long.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate that they kind of like brush LeBron aside because he's been so like consistent and the numbers he puts up is crazy, getting all type of triple doubles and stuff. That ain't normal. It still ain't normal. But the way the NBA is now, it kind of makes it a little more accessible just because all the shots being taken, all the loose rebounds and all that. But there's no gray area in certain things.
Yeah, it's like if we all just looked at the regular season, the Bucks had the best regular season. They had the best record. Giannis was putting up Wilt numbers. He deserved it. I mean, he folded in the playoffs. It happens. He's gonna have to go through the criticism. It happened to Steph after 2016. It happened to LeBron when he won the MVP and he didn't make it to the finals and lost in the finals. Players go through this stuff. It just happens.
And I feel like the people that are online asking for this rule to be changed or something are people that say, like, I kind of won. Or, like, find moral victories. I told Justin yesterday, I don't care about no moral victory because usually you lose in those. Yeah. I ain't about no moral victories. I'm about winning. Yeah. So, like, all that, no. It's either you kill in the regular season or you're good enough to make it to the finals to also collect that hardware.
Yeah. So.
Because think about it. I think almost in the history of the NBA, almost every MVP got a finals MVP. Almost. Carmelo don't. You know what I mean? But like a few don't. But most people
majority of the time, like 95%. Yeah. So it's like, come on now. Yeah, come on now. Let's not do this. And I had someone I was arguing with on Twitter. He said he basically was saying we've seen this 2 years in a row from Giannis like not showing up in the playoffs. I'm just like, yo, what are we doing? They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Granted they lost, but they were there. They were up 2-0. So like, let's not act like they weren't close to making it last year.
You know what I'm gonna say? That's how you feel. Don't get an MVP because there's people that are just up there with him. That's why you have 2, 3. I mean, Jordan didn't get every year. Yeah. Kobe didn't get every year. Yep. And Kobe should have gotten more than he did. So
Shaq only got one.
So with that being said, like, it's just sometimes you just miss out. Like, that's just part of life.
The craziest one there, like Shaq and Kobe only have one. And they each should have at least 3.
And who these people really think they ought to be asking for the NBA to change things? The NBA's been the NBA for a long time, and it hasn't been many issues with it. Yeah. Only thing they did was add a playoff game. And they did pretty well with this bubble situation, so I think they know what they're doing out of all the sports.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right, let's go to predictions. We're running out of time. We can go on this forever, but y'all kill me. You LeBron cult people, man. Y'all gotta get it together. Yeah, y'all are ridiculous. That's why I be. Let me not go there. Oh, sorry, we forgot to talk about Odell in this. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, predictions. Houston, Kansas City. We'll get to that when we get to the Browns. Houston, Kansas City.
Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs home game. You know, first game of the season. You got the ring. I'll go with Chiefs. Seattle at Atlanta. It's at Atlanta.
I'm going with Seattle.
Seattle travels well. Yeah, I'm gonna go there too. They travel well. Jets at Buffalo.
I'm going with the Jets, man.
Going Jets. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think the Bills got the better defense. Bears at Lions.
Lions.
This is a toss-up. Bears. Packers at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I'm going to go with the Packers just because the Packers always got the Vikings numbers for some reason. And A.J. Dillon, you know, I covered him at Boston College, so I think he's going to do some damage. He's going to watch out for him. Miami at New England. We both know where we're going with that. Philly at the team from Washington.
Team from Washington.
You going with team from Washington? I'm going to go with Philly just because they always, for some reason, squeak out a win against them. Las Vegas Raiders at Carolina.
Raiders.
I'm going to go with Carolina. Indy at Jacksonville. Yeah, this is a toss-up game.
I'm going Indiana. I ain't rooting for the Jack.
Me either. I'm going to go with Indy, too. The Browns at Baltimore. Odell, come on, man. Well,
he likes brownies.
Listen,
Smeared.
all I'm going to say is this. Y'all just you athletes, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to make better decisions on the women you choose to, deal with. Because some of these women are just
You need
there.
a librarian.
Yeah. Some of these women is just there so they could tell stories like this. Even if it's not true. Yeah. They could just make up a story. If they were around you, they could say something. Because some of these women, oh, man.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, extremely. Chargers and Bengals.
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers. Bucks, Saints. Bucks. Cardinals, San Francisco.
San Fran.
It's a tough one. It's in San Fran. Yeah, I'm going to go with you with that because it's in San Fran. Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. This is in Los Angeles, so I will go with the Rams. All right, and then Monday Night Football is a doubleheader. Steelers, Giants. I make it a point not to pick. I don't pick New York teams, so I'm going to go with the Steelers. Tennessee and Denver. Von Miller's done for the season.
Oh, Tennessee.
I'm going with Denver because it's in Denver and it was snowing in Denver, so yeah. All right, and that is that. Yeah, we done here. I don't got much to say.
Professional athletes, be careful when you take pictures. Do the Keanu stance.
Just make better decisions in the women you choose to deal with, because some of these women, man, they wanna make you look bad. And yeah, we could tell some stories first take experience. Not us personally, but know some things. Yeah. Follow us, LCTV After the Whistle. Instagram, Lynn Community TV, Facebook, LCTV, go to lyntv.org, go to the website, Mr. Burton, 23, Instagram, Mukala K, Instagram, all that stuff. Just, follow us, and we'll be back next week again. Enjoy the games this weekend. Celtics tonight. Yeah, have a good one.